This is getting people extremely excited about XRP right now. And I'm not only talking about speculatory pieces of what might happen to XRP and some cool things that the guys over at Ripple have thrown up, some very interesting hints they've thrown up. No, I'm talking about actual connections that the people have found out that just show once again why Ripple and XRP are in just a completely different league. Anyway, guys, if you've not done it yet, make sure you go ahead and press the like button on this video right now, and let us dive right in. So, as you can see, there are a couple of juicy announcements right in front of me already. Breaking news. Ripple has joined BlackRock and JP Morgan as a member of the trade association ISDA. We already hinted about this in a previous video, as I did show you the tweet, but I didn't say it out loud. Ripple has joined ISDA 100% focused derivatives. Officers from BlackRock, Société Générale et al., directors JP Morgan, CME Group, Citi, Goldman Sachs, BNY Mellon, London Stock Exchange, Bank of America, Intercontinental Exchange, et al. 1,000 plus institutions are members. 79 countries. Rad Van Is, or Rahul, is the contact for Ripple. And you can browse the members here, which of course I did for a little bit. You can see all the major banks are in here. List literally all the partners that you'd ever need, and the list goes on for a significant bunch. To which, again, there are different sorts of members. We've got the primary, associate, and subscriber. And only through associates is it saying right here, is the member showcase. As in you can find a little bit more out about them. But if you go ahead and look for it in their member showcase section, you can actually find Ripple Labs Inc. in there too, with them having the labels of crypto, crypto assets, and digital assets in the digital assets category. And people were also excited about their description. This description area also quotes and says, well, and the strategies are being dropped publicly one by one after the ruling. 100%. I found the way Ripple is now describing itself is interesting. Quote, Ripple's mission is to build breakthrough crypto solutions for a world without economic borders. Through blockchain technology, Ripple enables global financial institutions, businesses, governments, and developers to move, manage, and tokenize value, helping to unlock greater economic opportunity, enabling the world to move more value, or value as a concept, like information is moving today. And again, that summarizes not only payments, but the fact that everything can move across. Like information moved in the past, right now that information could, in theory, be a house. And whenever all this was basically brought up, people also noticed, hey, a couple of other major partners are on there too, like Algorand, and I also found Crypto.com. But Huber said something on a completely different line. JP Morgan would never manipulate the crypto market. This is an insane and irrational conspiracy theory. And then to prove it, or rather the contrary, maybe, he said JP Morgan to pay $920 million for manipulating precious metals treasury market. And then also, JP Morgan traders found guilty of manipulating the gold market for years. And also, former JP Morgan traders convicted of fraud, attempted price manipulation, and spoofing in a multi-year market manipulation scheme. And this article is just from last year, not even a year ago. So is the second article. This first article is from 2020. And the point here being that indeed, there is a pretty high probability that the manipulation that we are seeing in these markets comes from the significant power holding companies. And from that perspective, it would make a lot of sense if they want to get involved in this system because, again, these guys over at Ripple through XRP are a lot further in the process than we know of. It's just a matter of showcasing it to us. But it could also be that the guys like JP Morgan, Bank of America, whatever, actually are already very much aware of all the finer details 6 steps forward. And so to basically get ahead of the curve, they're trying to manipulate certain prices. I mean, at the end of the day, it could also be so that Ripple is manipulating them just as Ethereum did at the start. Again, you got to know, you are working with market makers to keep your prices relatively stable or proper on multiple exchanges or to give it proper liquidity. And if you're playing the game dirty, which is happening in crypto right now too much, there are a lot of ways to keep the price at a certain point if you've got the money, or in this case, the tokens, to back it up. Because what these guys, theoretically speaking, could do is trade against you. Because again, Ripple's got a lot of money to fund the market makers, or theoretically speaking, if they're massive market makers, they've got the money themselves. All they require is the tokens from you. And they, through their algorithms, can start selling whenever the price starts to climb up a little bit. And then theoretically speaking, also buying up the moment that prices come back down to basically get a certain chart going for you. But in this case, it could be that Ripple, for example, instructed. This is just pure hypotheticals with a lot of holes in my theory, because in theory, Ripple's communications of that would have been uncovered a long while ago. In another theory, is Ripple really allowed to give that information? Another part is like, well, where exactly does Ripple discuss that, since blah, blah, blah. There's just a lot of holes, but the idea is pretty clear. Any party could have, theoretically speaking, done this with enough money to say, you know what? We want to just accumulate the most amount of XRP possible. It's imperative, and we want to ruin houses that way. It doesn't matter for us if we ruin some families. We want to keep the price below $1 for as long as humanly possible. We are able to put a lot of money on them just to keep the price suppressed, because the amount of money that we're putting in to buy more of is going to be more significant if we get enough fear in. So that means, let's say they spent $10 billion on price suppression below $1, but they're buying in for, I guess a couple $1 billion. But with the idea of price appreciation, that would still be a good deal, because the more money you suppress the price with, the more fear there is, so the price goes down more. I'm just describing here a manipulation strategy for you. As we've said before, by the way, the government, U.S. government, could make so much money off of Bitcoin. How? By trying to crash it. By trying to go for a 51% attack and shorting it in the same time. Let's say they're shorting it for $10 billion. And let's just say these numbers are a little bit off. But let's just say that destroying Bitcoin with all the mining power would cost them $20 billion. The $10 billion short would be, a counter trade of half the value. But the moment that Bitcoin starts to crash, right? If they're shorting it, the $10 billion is going to turn into whatever, 500, $1 trillion, whatever. And so it will definitely have been worth it. Even though the first couple of seconds, it doesn't seem like the most smart idea. Why am I bringing this up? Well, because it's actually quite interesting that XRP is at this point, right? Moonlambo said this. Can we keep some perspective, please? Year to date, increases are as follows. XRP plus 85%, Bitcoin plus 74%, Ethereum plus 52%, and a couple of other things like NDX, SPX, and the DGIA plus 40%. I'm not sure why he puts the dollar sign there. Plus 17% and plus 5%. I really am not feeling this emotional pain that some of you out there are displaying on social media, which is basically a jab to the people that are not so excited about XRP's performance. It's still the best asset year to date. And even though I'm going to be the first to tell you that the XRP price performance after the most catalytic event in crypto was very wacky, all right? It was not at all what the majority of us expected. It's not at all what our goals were. It's not at all, I'd say, appropriate for where the price should be. I'm going to call it and say it is mostly because this right now as we're speaking, is the most quiet period in crypto over the last 3 years. And from that perspective, I just kind of hope that the moment the actual bull market comes back, I believe we're already over the bear market phase. I actually believe we're already in a bull market right now, but we're not in the most bullish of phases in that bull market. Reiterating things. That the moment the bull market actually does come back in full force, that a lot of volume is going to come back to the crypto market. We all know that. A lot of interest is going to come back. And when these people, institutional investors, and everybody investigate which exact cryptos they are going to buy, I think XRP now stands way higher upon that list. And I think it's going to be a priority for most companies and most people to at least get themselves some, or to fully focus on that specific crypto. So perhaps from that perspective, the climate is changing. Even though we're not seeing it all just quite yet, it is changing. And some people say, hey, if you're not tired of holding for all these years, you're a special type of human. Let me tell you again, all right? I think a lot of you guys watching this right now have had a normal job, or still having a normal job. And I'd say for the majority of people I speak, this job pays them well, but not well enough to do the majority of things that they want. But if I had a good conversation with them and I ask, and even these are people very close around me, and this could have been my own mindset a couple years ago, and you ask them, hey, if you right now got a chance to change your life completely, but it takes 8 years, people would have still said, 8 years I can wait. Yeah, that's fine. Because the notion of getting quick money, fast money, quick money, quick to the moon, it's what keeps a lot of people in this suffering idea, because people need the good things too quickly. change the entire financial system takes time. And I've said this many times. I'm a person that puts the money where it can move the quickest because it's a quick game, right? Crypto as a concept moves fast. But that requires a significant amount of knowledge about the space and constant updates. Many people don't have that time to invest every single second into something new and completely risky. You know how many times I've lost money? Ridiculous. But that's also because I like the risk. I like to attempt it. With XRP, I see it this way of, I just buy it, stay quiet, right? Potentially buy more if I feel like it. But I know over a longer period of time, this is not financial advice, these are just my own thoughts, but it's going to be going up. So it's very simple, and it's just a matter of shutting up, throwing away the key, and waiting because you understand what they're building. And so, no, I don't really get that people are tired. I get that people are tired relatively, but what is 5 years on a lifetime when this technology is changing the entire world? It's similar to Amazon and all these different stocks where, yeah, if you were, or even the S&P or even any asset really, if you just bought at the quote-unquote wrong time, 2017 or beginning 18 being the wrong time then, at the peak of the bull market of last one. If you bought at the wrong time, you might have to wait a significant amount of time to get the gains you always wanted. But for me, for example, I'm in massive amounts of profit with XRP. And this year, the 85% plus gains, again, have been amazing because now my portfolio is looking massively green. But that's because I bought at the right time and because I actually go for the strategy that I always tell you guys, which is don't just buy once, buy your way down. Anybody that bought their way down that has a higher average price than 35 cents, or let's just call it 45 cents, has done something extremely wrong. Let me actually put that even worse for you. Anybody that has a higher average price of XRP than 65 cents, I don't know what you've been doing, but you've not been doing it the right way. Anybody that's not in profit on XRP right now has been buying at points of extreme hype where the majority of us are selling. Or if you're a long-term holder, you're not really fond of selling, at least you're waiting out. But people that have bought just now after the summary judgment, well, there it goes for you. You're buying after a most massive event with crazy amounts of hype, crazy amounts of speculation, and now it was due for a correction and you're crying. Well, that's again the point where you buy more to get your average price now from whatever, 90 cents down to hopefully 70 cents. So at the moment that we get a bounce back up, you're quickly in profit. Because if you don't believe in this technology anyway, and you don't think it's going to bounce, etc., 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 sell everything and go for something else because it's not for you. But hey, those were just my thoughts, guys. Make sure you put that notification bell on for in case something crazy happens tomorrow. You want to be notified. This is what I always say. And I appreciate you guys all stopping by and saying hi. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today.